Coming up on Mountain News at 6, a Perry County man has pleaded not guilty to wanton endangerment in connection with a major fire. And a partnership in Pike County is working to clean up the area one appliance at a time.
And we had a fairly nice first week in the fall, but changes are on the way later this week. I'll have the latest. Mountain News at 6 starts right now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
A Hazard landlord has pleaded not guilty to multiple charges stemming from a major fire that left several people homeless during the summer. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox was at his arraignment.
Brian Carter pleaded not guilty to charges of wanton endangerment and failure to abide by a city ordinance. Carter was arraigned at the Perry County District Court, where he pled not guilty to multiple charges.
I don't think it's right for him not gonna do that, you know?
The charges came after an apartment that Carter owned caught on fire, forcing tenants to evacuate. The nearby treehouse building, which he owned, was also evacuated. Allie Barger, a former tenant, told WYMT, quote, Brian Carter saying he's not guilty is just insanity. He knew those apartments were not safe nor up to code. Carter and his lawyer, John Hanson, declined to do an interview, but Hanson did say he does not believe the charges have probable cause. In Hazard, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
The pretrial date for Carter is set for October 31st. Now, Carter sold the treehouse building and the apartment building that burned, which are being remodeled. One person is dead following a crash in Lee County, Virginia. Virginia State Police say it happened last Thursday on Route 636, about a mile south of Route 635. Police say a Pontiac G6 was heading south when it went off the left side of the road. The car ended up coming back onto the road before going off again and hitting a tree. 45-year-old Crystal G. Webb of St. Charles, Virginia died at the scene. Police say she was not wearing a seatbelt at the time of the crash. Moorhead police are searching a remote wooded area in Rowan County where skeletal remains were found. It is the second day of a search that began yesterday. The Rowan County Coroner's Office says someone found the remains around 4 yesterday afternoon. Crews stopped searching after it got dark last night. The coroner says the search started back up at daylight today. The remains are being sent to the state medical examiner's office in Frankfort. A Campbell County, Tennessee woman is facing theft and forgery charges after police say she defrauded TennCare. The TBI says Vicki Lynn Johnson obtained medical assistance payments for services not provided by TennCare. Officials say she also submitted timesheets for a caregiver who agents learned was dead. Johnson turned herself in to the Campbell County Jail today. The Pulaski County Sheriff's Office is warning about an increase in vehicle thefts. Sheriff Bobby Jones says in the last 30 days, deputies have investigated 10 stolen vehicle reports and at least 5 reports of thefts from vehicles. The Sheriff's Office says most of the cases involve cars that were unlocked or with the keys still inside. Deputies are reminding drivers to never leave valuables in your car and keep it locked. Medications like Ozempic and Wegovy are so popular they are considered to be in shortage, but be careful where you turn to find them. One Kentucky woman who asked to remain anonymous says she was lured in by a seller on Facebook who promised her the drug at a lower cost. She ended up spending more than $1,000 and got nothing in return. And she's likely not the only one. There is no shortage of scammers trying to take advantage of folks these days.
Would you say you were desperate for this?
Yes. Not desperate death, but just desperate because I wanted to get the weight off.
We will have much more about this tonight at 11.
Well, we're scanning the skies tonight with live pinpoint Doppler radar, and not a whole lot showing up. Now, you see some green out there, but that's not necessarily rain that is actually reaching it to the surface. It's just some moisture up in the atmosphere. But again, it looks deceiving out there. But there at at Corbin. A little bit of action out there on I-75 at Corbin. And you see again a little light traffic, some road work going on there. Current conditions, temperatures, you're going to notice a notable difference there between the east and the west. 81 Somerset, 79 Monticello, London, Williamsburg, Jacksboro, Tennessee, 80 in Manchester. But the further east you go, we're in the 60s in Pikeville, Prestonsburg, Wayne, West Virginia, Logan, Grundy, Clintwood, and Wise. So there's a big defining line there, and I can tell you why. Clouds. There were more clouds in the eastern counties today. Sunshine came out in the western counties. Fairly nice night ahead, and again, rain chances return as we head deeper into the week, and we could see some stronger storms there on Wednesday and Thursday. I'll have the complete forecast coming up here in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Brandon, thank you. A former Kentucky governor made his final trip to the state capitol today with his funeral services set for tomorrow. Brereton Jones died on September 18th at the age of 84. He was governor of Kentucky from 1991 to 1995. Today, his family is welcoming visitors to the Capitol as his body lies in state. WYMT's Phil Pendleton spoke to folks remembering him.
Kentucky State Police are keeping watch over the casket of former Governor Brereton C. Jones. An honor guard changes out every 30 minutes in the rotunda, just a few feet from the office that he held from 1991 to 95.
We really admired him, and that's the reason we gave him an award as the greatest reform governor of Kentucky.
People say Governor Jones was instrumental in election and campaign reform and pushing for stronger ethics that current lawmakers work to abide by.
I think that we all know that he really brought a culture of decency and honesty into Frankfort politics. A lot of people who served here while he was here talked about how he pushed and that there was really a big culture change.
Brereton Jones' family released a statement saying that while it was the love of horses that brought him to Kentucky, it was the people of the Commonwealth that made his life so fulfilling. They say that his greatest pride, his greatest joy was not in titles, but by simply helping his fellow man or inspiring others to do the same. People say he put Kentuckians ahead of his own political interests, noting how he pushed for governors to run for 2 terms for re-election, but only after he left office. Current Governor Andy Beshear says he looked up to him, and not just because he was taller.
I mean, his push on health care, on ethics reform wasn't popular with everybody at the time. He did it because he thought it was right, and that's something I greatly respect.
Jones is being remembered for breeding horses, starting the Kentucky Equine Education Project, being a founding member of the Breeders' Cup. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Funeral services will be at 10 tomorrow morning at Elkhorn Baptist Church in Midway. A private burial service will follow. Elliott County is receiving more than $2 million. Governor Andy Beshear's senior advisor Rocky Adkins presented the check at a ribbon cutting at Elliott County Middle School today, along with supporting the Middle Commons outdoor rec and event space. The money will go towards improving roads and cybersecurity. The money will also be used to improve the sewer infrastructure at the Little Sandy Hook Correctional Complex. We have more about this on WYMT.com. The Buchanan County, Virginia Board of Supervisors is also receiving $700,000. That in an announcement from Congressman Morgan Griffith's office. That money will go toward the Waterline Extension Project, improving water access to nearly 100 homes. Griffith says he's pleased the funds from the Appalachian Regional Commission will help guarantee drinkable water for many in Buchanan County, Virginia. New speech therapy services will be coming to one Harlan County elementary school very soon. Everett's Elementary School will begin using virtual speech pathologists through Illume Therapy. The new virtual option was approved by the Harlan County Board of Education during the last 2 weeks and is expected to begin soon. Principal Needham Saylor says with the way students are accustomed to technology, he's excited for this change.
I'm excited about the opportunity. I think it's something new and it's something innovating. You've got a lot today, kids, they're used to dealing with things online, dealing with devices, so it's kind of right down their alley.
Saylor says they will have to see how well the service does before deciding if the online services will continue for future school years. We'll have more about the new service coming to Everett's Elementary tonight at 11. A program started today bringing an annual appliance buyback to several different dump sites in Pike County. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more from the first day of drop-offs.
I'm sure if you polled Pike County and asked everyone in our county if they'd like to have a clean county, I'm sure that 95% of them would say yes.
The Pike County Conservation District is working with the Solid Waste Department to bring in appliances to help keep the county clean.
Instead of people taking it to the head of the hollers or throwing it over the hillside and stuff, they can bring it to us and we will actually pay them for bringing it in to us.
The annual appliance buyback kicked off Monday, with truckloads of unwanted washers, dryers, refrigerators, and more piling into the Belcher solid waste lot.
This helps clean up our environment, which makes it actually, better for our community and our wildlife. It makes it a safer place for all of us to live.
The program serves different missions, bringing attention to the options for disposal in the county, while also incentivizing proper disposal by paying for the items dropped off during the program.
That shows that it's working. When you see them pulling in here with these big loads, and it seems like everybody leaves with a smile on their face when they get that check.
Working to address potentially hazardous waste and helping to cut down on illegal dumping concerns in the community.
And we've got all these different places that they can dump and bring stuff to, and still we have people that still puts it over a hill and stuff.
Organizers say it is always great to see the response from the people, seeing more than 1,700 appliances brought in last year.
It makes a big difference in our community to see all of this and know that we have a community who cares enough to help clean up our community instead of just taking it and throwing it away somewhere.
Cleaning up by buying back. In Pike County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Buyback days continue through next Monday, hitting different areas around the county to make the program more accessible to everyone. You can see the locations for those spots on our website. Today marks the start of National Drive Electric Week. It's a nationwide effort celebrating all electric and hybrid vehicles and the benefits they can provide. Kentucky Utilities announced they are adding 2 new charging stations to Kentucky's public vehicle charging network. It is an addition they are not only excited to share, but they feel is essential to Kentucky's growing presence in the EV community.
EVs are growing every day. We have more than 4 dozen types of electric vehicles that are hitting the market in the next 3 years. And so there's a big demand for charging stations, and we're trying to make sure that they're out there for folks.
Kentucky's Cabinet of Economic Development cites more than $10 billion being newly invested into electric vehicle projects as the state currently holds the #1 spot for producer of cars per capita. The University of Kentucky is offering flu shots and COVID-19 boosters for students. Both vaccines will be available at several different clinic locations on campus this fall. Flu shots will be available this Wednesday from 1 until 3 in the Blue Box Theater. The newly approved COVID-19 booster is also available through UK retail pharmacies. The University of the Cumberlands is celebrating a new ranking, best in the state at providing social mobility. A news release from the university says the Cumberlands is the best in the state at giving students what they need to move up socioeconomically. It comes in a ranking done by U.S. News and World Report.
After a dry stretch of weather, a system we've been tracking for several days moving across half the country will arrive in the mountains tomorrow night. I have the latest impacts in a few minutes. Plus,
folks on Interstate 75 came across an interesting situation yesterday when a horse got loose.